What's going on, guys? This is Austin from 3 Guys Tech Reviews, and here I'm just bringing you the latest recap of all the iPad 3 rumors and news. Now, everybody's been dying to know the latest on the new version of this, which will either be the iPad 2S or the iPad 3. But either way, everybody's been dying to know what is the new chapter of this device going to hold, and when is it going to be released? Now, that's actually the biggest question. Now, iPad 3, I'm just going to go over all the rumors and most of the tech specs that we already know about it, especially from, all of these different manufacturers that are releasing information such as the Retina display and the case of the iPad. So first things first, as most of you already know, this iPad has an A5 processor in here, and that's running at 900 megahertz, and this is a dual-core processor. All right, so in the iPad 3, we're looking at a A5X or A6 chip. Now we've seen mock-ups of the smart board of the actual iPad 3, and we saw the A5X chip on there. Now that's most likely going to be a quad-core processor running in the iPad 3. Now, especially one main reason that we have to believe this, one, dual-core, quad-core is the next step in processors, and also, each year that they've released an iPad, we've seen this, step in each software. And another reason that we have to believe that is we've seen manufacturers. It's going to have this 9.7-inch display on the iPad 3 is actually going to basically be double the resolution, or actually quadruple the resolution. It's basically going to take four of these resolutions in one. Now, this resolution is a 9.7 diagonal inch display, and it has a resolution of 1024 by 768 pixels. Now, the display that the iPad 3 is going to have double on length and width. So that's going to have 2048 pixels by 1536 pixels. Now, honestly, that's ridiculous because most monitors and TVs that we see today have a 1920 by 1080 display, and that's bigger in a 9.7-inch screen. Now, the pixel density is actually going to be 264 pixels per inch, which is not quite as dense as we see in the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 4 that has a pixel density of 326, I believe. But even just on a 9.7-inch screen, the screen already looks pretty decent on this device right now, as you can see right here. It looks pretty decent as it is. So just to double that resolution, graphics are going to look really good, and that's especially where the quad-core processor is going to be needed to actually run this resolution. So to run this, we're most likely going to be seeing a quad-core A5X or A6 chip in the iPad 3. Now, some other features we're going to see right here, the camera, and this also the rear-facing camera. This is most likely going to be a 1080p camera, image stabilization, probably like 8 megapixels, most likely at 30 frames per second, not 60 frames per second. If it is 60 frames per second, that'll probably be in 720p. And in the front, we might see the FaceTime HD cameras that we see in MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs nowadays. So the FaceTime HD cameras, that'll be good for. We have the apps here for the camera app, of course, and we also have the FaceTime app for, it runs on just about every iOS device that we have now. Now, speaking of iOS, on the iPad 3, it's most likely, unless they somehow, come out with a new operating system in the next upcoming months, it's going to release, of course, is kind of a no-brainer with iOS 5. We've seen on all of these devices so far. And with iOS 5, we will most likely see, and I don't see why we wouldn't see, Siri on the iPad 3, because it's definitely going to have the capabilities of running it, and we've seen it running even on an iPhone 4. So if it can run on an iPhone 4 and 4S, then of course it can run on the new iPad 3. And with the shell, we've already seen it has all of the buttons, the power button, the volume rocker, dock, and everything. But the form factor, the form factor is basically going to say the exact same thing. We're still going to have this tapered design around the back so that it lies flat on a table. What we've been seeing in the recent iPad 2, of course. Now, there have been like a lot of different rumors that I've been hearing from various sources that are saying, oh, the iPad's going to be smaller, it might be a little bit thinner, it might be a little bit thicker. I'm leaning more on the thicker side, and I don't want to say thicker as in, this big, but, just like a 1 to 1.5 millimeter difference. And that'll probably be just to accommodate a bigger battery in here, which will accommodate the quad core processor that's going to be running this beast of a tablet. With the display, I can just take my word on this. Unless there's, pigs start flying from the sky, I'm 99.9999% sure we're not going to see a 3. There's no reason for a 3D display. I think that would just completely take away from the Apple experience, especially with the iPad 2 experience. It's already so fluid. Everything just runs smooth and perfectly, so I see no reason to implement the iPad 3 with 3D. And even if they were going to, we haven't seen anything that even closely mentions or regards the iPad 3 having 3D features. So definitely not going to see that in the iPad 3. All right, now you might be thinking, now we've had 3G models of the iPads that we've all seen. This right here is a Wi-Fi model, but if you are interested in having a model that you can take around with you, go on camping trips or whatever on the go, and still have access to internet, this is one rumor that I do believe. We've already seen it. They've already moved all of their iPhones to Verizon, so I wouldn't be surprised if they include Verizon 4G LTE on this device. Now, that's something a lot of people are actually excited about. Now, if they include 4G LTE on this device, then I think that'd just be awesome. And they also would put it on AT&T's 4G network as well. So that's something that I'm not exactly sure, but we might possibly see on the new iPad. That was just a quick run through of the new iPad 3. New processor, new screen, same form factor, but beefed up cameras, basically just a huge upgrade of this already great device. And so now the big question is, when is it going to be releasing? Now, I can tell you that I don't think anybody really has a specific date on when this device will actually be releasing, but some sources have said one hot date has been March 7th, and this wouldn't really be surprising, seeing as how they've launched. They have a sort of routine launch with the iPads in March, and they usually actually, after a week of unveiling the product, they'll actually release the product to the public for purchase. So we can hopefully see this early March, maybe. I wouldn't say no later than late March that we'll be seeing this device. So rest assured, you can go ahead and wait for this device. I would not buy an iPad 2 right now, especially if I knew that the iPad 3 is coming out. Two reasons. One, because who doesn't want to have the latest software if it's only a month away? Well, not the latest software, but the latest hardware. So if you're definitely thinking of purchasing iPad 3, it's most likely going to have around the same price point that we saw when the iPad 2 was released. So I would definitely wait for that reason. Also, if they're going to have the iPad 2 and the iPad 3 in the market at the same time, 9 out of 10 chances they're going to discount this. So if you're thinking of buying this right now, I would definitely wait till the iPad 3 is released and at least wait for those prices to drop on the iPad 2. Again, this is still a phenomenal device. It hasn't been outdated in any way, shape, or form, but they're, Apple, they just like to roll out new products, refresh their line every year if they're not keeping up with new technology, which they are. So they're, I would just wait it out for another month. It wouldn't kill you. Either you would be regretting it. You'd say, oh, I should have gotten the iPad 3, or I should have waited and gotten this for a cheaper price. So I would just say, wait till March 7th comes around. If it's not released then, at least wait till the end of March. By the time you waited till the end of March, I would say, just wait till it releases and see what happens from then on. It wouldn't kill you, and I feel like you would be making a more informed purchase. So that's it on the iPad 3, but wait, that's not it. Now, there have been rumors that, this is actually pretty surprising to me. Again, just rumors, but there might be a 7-inch iPad releasing it, not the same time, but Q4 around Christmas time of 2012. Now, this is a sub $400 device, apparently, So, you know, if you don't want to shell out all this money for an iPad 2 or 3 or 2S, as they might pull another one of those, which I'd be completely fine with. But if you don't want to shell out as much money and you still want a great Apple product, apparently they are making a 7-inch device that's in development. The same design, you know, but it's gonna have a low voltage processor. So it's not gonna be like an iPad 3. It'll probably be like an iPad 2 mini or something along the lines of that. We never know, iPad Air, something like that. But a little smaller form factor. It's gonna have a low voltage processor. It's still gonna have iOS 5 and, you know, all that good stuff, apps. You'll still be able to do the same things, but just, you know, slightly lower clocked speeds and a smaller design. It's still gonna have the same design, but it's gonna be 7 inches, good graphics, and a large battery for the actual size of the device. You can expect that Q4 of Christmas 2012, if that is in fact coming out. I think that was it. So yeah, new iPad 3 coming out. Hopefully March 7th we'll get a announcement on that. I will keep you guys updated, but again, wait until the announcement to make your decision if you're gonna buy an iPad 2 or 3 or whatever you actually want to purchase. This was Austin from 3 Guys Tech. If this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up. That helps the channel out. Also, you subscribe because I will be dishing out a lot more content at you guys. So stay tuned for that. Again, Austin from 3 Guys Tech, and I'm gonna go play with my iPad 2 just a little bit longer.